Andrew, so what do you do?
So my name's Andrew Walker and I'm the Curriculum Manager for Blackpool School of Arts. My main role is to ensure the quality of the provision within the creative sector here. Also reach out wider to the local community and develop young artists, but also link wider with the external landscape, regional, countrywide, to ensure that students get a good understanding of what the creative sector looks like across the full creative world around us.
Now, I worked with you on this publication right here.
This one right here.
I can't decide if I'm meant to be in or out of these films. So we came and we worked on this project together, and this was one of the first ones I did after the pandemic. I had this idea that during that time, that because I would always been out on the streets and I was photographing people in towns, young people in towns on Saturdays, and then suddenly that all ended. Nobody was out. Everybody was, what they were not out being visible with how they wanted to be, and also that the streets were shut. And so those two things, when we did these pictures, this was kind of, I was thinking, what has that done? Like, what's that done to these people? And their creativity and their visibility. So now when I turned up and we went to do the shoot, they blew me away with how, they were so expressive and so creative, and they seemed to have so much fun doing it. So I just was wondering what you think about, like, what that time, how does it look to you? Like, what do you think about what that time was like?
So, I think what happened during the pandemic is these young people mirrored themselves of what was accessible to them at the time. And a lot of that was social media. And with the nature of social media, it's a heightened version of reality. And with that heightened version of reality, that transcended into the way that they looked, the way they came across. And they probably were getting exposed to that outside of the pandemic. So when they came out of the pandemic, it was all emphasized versions of what we used to see before. It was really higher, less diluted versions of these really creative people. And that was this, when we're doing this project, that was there. It was so there. It was your art school felt like an art school on steroids. It felt really ramped up. And I think since then, that demographic's sort of been diluted a bit back down again, because their general interactions with people now are more on the streets, in public places, and they're mirroring what they're seeing around them, and maybe being a bit more conscious of the way that they look and feel and who they are, and that then means that they are expressing themselves in a less purified version of what they were seeing elsewhere.
That is, I'm so interested in that, because I wondered if that would happen, but you're kind of on the front line, really, in this place like Blackpool School of Art, where you really can see what is happening for young people. Because I think that as part of the Saturday Town Pictures, the way that they are, the way that they're being, and the way that they're being visually, it's telling us things about where we are as a society. Yes. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I don't think the creativeness has gone. I think one of the great things that's come out of the pandemic is that students have come to us now from the School of Arts with a disdain and a hatred towards digital. There's more of my students who are not on social media than are on social media now. They turned pre-pandemic, if we were doing a digital session, they were really engaged and wanting to be there. If we do a digital session now, they are so not wanting to be involved. They want to go in the dark room, they want to go on the sewing machines, they want to go in the print room, they want to go on drawing, they want to build sculptures, they want to do set designs. They want to do hands-on physical things that don't involve them looking at a small screen. And that's been one of the biggest changes. So we've gone from students who would get really excited and, you know, really creatively fizzing about doing digital drawings on an iPad to getting really extremely excited about using charcoals. And that's been one of the biggest, quickest shifts I think I've seen. There's still the small contingency who want to be involved in the modern practice, but a lot more of them are interested in traditional practice. And I'm seeing now, if I talked about visions and how they present themselves, I'm seeing a lot more students than ever before using second-hand fashion rather than fast fashion, going back to more subtle fashion-like looks, but being more conscious of the sustainability of the way they dress. And I think if I looked at my cohorts now, a vast majority of them would pick a second-hand garment of a dull blue, brown, earthy nature over something that was fast fashion with a printed logo on from anywhere. And I think that's a lot about consciousness about what the decisions they make and what that and the impact that has. But I also just think they're really sick of everything now. I think they've had enough of everything, and it's very hard to blow a student's brain away now with showing them something digital, because they know it's just digital. But you show them a technique like screen printing onto a t-shirt, it blows their mind that physically, as I move this across here, that makes that there, and I can make a 6-layer image which will look like this in 6 different colours. That is magic to them, whereas moving a mouse across a screen has lost its magic now.
I think that people in general after the pandemic are like really yearned for the physical all over the place. So like you see more people like say wild swimming or joining choirs or things, you know, or kind of doing physical things. It felt like, and that people just want things in their hands and maybe want to come together in a physical way. And that you know, I find that so interesting to me that you're seeing that to such an extreme extent here.
Night and day, I would say. The description of I've come across there, I thought when we came out of the pandemic, I spent a lot of the last times of the pandemic designing digital courses, because I thought it's going to be a massive shift that way. And actually, within the first term, I was having to go back and just completely rewrite everything with more traditional hands-based practice. I mean, it's not just the younger people. I mean, I'm catered predominantly towards younger people as well, but I do a lot of adult art courses during the evening. And the digital photography class runs the same time as the traditional practice photography class, and the traditional practice photography class outstrips the digital photography class every time on student volumes. So there is an appetite to go back to that pure practice, we're going to use the word engaged practice, because I feel a lot of the time, a lot of the digital practice somehow became less engaged, and more the engagement was between the person and the screen, whereas the traditional practice is the person, the practice and the audience. And I feel like that is where we're at now. There's lots of people excited about that.
And do you think that you can see that the way that they are, you know, the way that they're dressing and presenting themselves and identities, and that do you think that's related? How
Absolutely.
You can see that?
Absolutely. And I want to give 2 prime examples of this. We've got a student, and I'm just going to grab it. I'll off camera. We'll run off camera and back on. I feel like we're repetitive. So two of our students couldn't find the type of clothing they wanted to wear, so they went and made their own. They designed their own t-shirt brand. And this is one of the printed versions that they went on to get printed, but this was originally the first 200 of this T-shirt were screen printed. I couldn't get a screen print roll because it sold out so fast. We have another student who designed his own T-shirt and apparel brand based around clothes he wanted to achieve and what he wanted to find. And I think there was gone of a fear of wearing clothes that you've made, and I think that was around in the noughties and fast fashion, and I think that's totally gone now.
Right, interesting, great, thank you. Great, okay, I'm going to stop that now.